Is it fair to say then that the miscalculation resulted in the chaotic situation that existed immediately after, for a while, and got immediately after the invasion and all that sort of stuff?
I can't say that. I can't link those two particular points. What I can say is, I think if we had been able to move more rapidly to stand up a government that was capable, I think we might have avoided some of that. But I don't want to blame all that on the Iraqi government. It was a difficult situation, but it was successful. We now find ourselves in a situation where 5 years later we've achieved most of the objectives that you would have set out in the spring of '03 when we launched into Iraq. We've got the violence level down to its lowest level since '03. We've got had 3 national elections, a constitution written, a new government stood up, a new army recruited and trained, the Iraqis increasingly able to take on responsibility for themselves, and we've now entered into a strategic framework agreement with the new Iraqi government that will provide for the ultimate withdrawal of U.S. forces. You could not have asked for much more than that in terms of the policies that we started on in '03.
Well, Mr. Vice President, getting from there to here, 4,500 Americans have died, at least 100,000 Iraqis have died. Has it been worth that?
I think so.
Why?
Because I believed at the time that what Saddam Hussein represented was, especially in the aftermath of 9/11, was a terror-sponsoring state, so designated by the State Department. He was making payments to the families of suicide bombers. He provided a safe haven and sanctuary for Abu Nidal and other terrorist operations. He had produced and used weapons of mass destruction, chemical and biological agents. He'd had a nuclear program in the past. He'd killed hundreds of thousands of his own people, and he did have a relationship with Al-Qaeda. Now, we've had this debate. It keeps people trying to conflate those arguments. That's not to say that Saddam was responsible for 9/11. It is to say, as George Tenet, CIA director, testified in open session in the Senate, that there was a relationship there that went back 10 years. So this was a terror-sponsoring state with access to weapons of mass destruction, and that's the greatest threat we faced in the aftermath of 9/11. That the next time we found terrorists in the middle of one of our cities, it wouldn't be 19 guys armed with airline tickets and box cutters. It would be terrorists armed with a biological agent or maybe even a nuclear device. And so I think, given the track record of Saddam Hussein, I think we did exactly the right thing. I think the country's better off for it today. I think it's been part of the effort alongside Afghanistan to liberate 50 million people and establish a vibrant democracy in the heart of the Middle East. I think those are major, major accomplishments.